All right, welcome back to Content Outside. You may have thought that the channel name was actually Content Outside, and it's a double entendre. It was designed that way because I'm content to make content outside. And I wanted to talk today about why YouTube. Why did I decide to do YouTube? Well, to be honest with you, there's a lot of information that I've gained from YouTube that has helped me to do what I wanted to do. My family and I lived up in the Kansas City area for a little over a decade, and we were just never at home there. You know, I grew up in the country. My wife also grew up in the country. Our children never had an opportunity to live in the country, although they were able to visit family. However, it was our goal to get them back out so that they can enjoy the simpler things in life. And so we're back here in Missouri, and we've been enjoying our little plot of land here and our house that we recently built for a little over 7 years now, and it's been really great for our kids. And you know, YouTube and the internet helped us to build our house in the area that we live. There's no building requirements. I've got a background of construction and different types of construction, and so because of that, we were able to build our home relatively inexpensively even during the pandemic. And so I'm thankful for that opportunity, and I'm thankful for the opportunity that it gives us for our children. And I want to share that with people on the internet so that they can see what it's like to be outdoors. And so this is meant to be kind of an introduction to outdoor living, and not necessarily outdoor living, but experiencing the outdoors. And there's a lot of content on the internet that it's not something that I would want my children to see. And sometimes it can be embarrassing, even though the creators often think that it's permissible. And so I wanted to make a channel where people could find good, wholesome content that it's not going to embarrass you to watch with your children. And so that's my goal, is to give back, since YouTube has been so beneficial to me, and to try and help people to appreciate some of the more pleasurable things that the outdoors have to offer. So today I'm out here near what will eventually be a pond, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that I hope to do in the future, some of my plans for the channel. And ultimately, I'm not going to make any promises, okay? Because I'm not a person of wealth. I don't have a lot of means, but I do have drive, and so hopefully some of these things will come to pass. Now, this particular area, I've been working on it for quite a while. I do have a backhoe that's currently broken down, but initially I paid someone to build this pond, and it didn't work out. I paid them $6,000, and they didn't deliver. But I just decided to go out and buy a backhoe and try to do it myself, and it's really been a struggle. It's been a challenge to keep everything going. But ultimately, I'll get there or die trying. But it is an enjoyable place to be. It does hold water in a couple of different areas, and I've done some test digs, and we've got some small fish in here, not any that I've stocked, but some that have just been naturally planted from upstream. So this is kind of a wet weather creek. We catch a little over 700 acres of watershed, and so you can imagine that there's quite a few difficulties that arise, especially after big storms. And you know, we're working our way through that. In addition to the pond build, which is probably going to be more of a long-term goal, we're looking at having to build a bridge so that we can cross over the water whenever the creek is up and the water is roaring, because it turns into pretty much a river at that time. So that is something that we'll probably be putting on the channel in the relatively near future. In addition to that, we're going to be looking more at fishing. We're going to be looking at some hunting later in the year, and some things that I'm really excited about. A little bit further out, maybe a couple months, I'm hoping to do a dive video. I've been certified for scuba since 2005, and I've often talked to my children, you know, as they were growing up, about how we'd like to do some scuba diving. And so I've got a plan, and hopefully within a couple months you might see a video on that. About a little over a year from now, we're looking at something really special, and I'm hoping that we can obtain monetization before then. I've never been out of the country. I've been fortunate to do a lot of travel in I say a lot, several states, the majority of the states, the contiguous U.S. I've done a lot of that on motorcycle, and also we've done some traveling by vehicle. We recently came back from Colorado. It's one of our favorite places to visit, and you can watch the videos here on the channel. We don't have a whole lot of footage yet, and to be honest, that is why I started YouTube. I've been wanting to do YouTube for several years now, and just didn't have the time. I didn't feel like I had the time. When we bought this place, we needed to build our house, and I knew that there was going to be a lot of good content because we were doing almost everything ourselves. If I'm not mistaken, the only thing that we didn't do with our immediate family and a few friends here and there was the concrete work, the well. We have a well here on site that we couldn't dig, and besides that, we didn't finish the drywall. Everything else we were able to do ourselves. I did the wiring, the plumbing, I did all, I hung the drywall, we did the framework, and there's a lot of good content there. But unfortunately, I didn't have the time to record it all because I was so busy working, and we made a lot of sacrifices during that time to make it available to us, and I just didn't want to put my family through any more of a delay. So unfortunately, we weren't able to do the recordings that I wanted to do. I do have some footage of that. If you're interested, please let me know in the comments, and I'd be happy to share some of that with you and maybe do a voiceover. I've never done that before. I'm learning a lot about editing and different things that YouTube requires. This is all new to me, and I'm up for a challenge. I like to challenge myself to more difficult tasks, and I really take joy in learning new things. And in addition to that, we're going to have probably some archery. We're going to have some potentially, depending on YouTube rules. I'm gonna have to look into this one, but we may do some recording of some target shooting and things like that. But we've got a lot of plans, a lot of things that we'd like to show, and we hope that you'll be with us. Now, I started to talk about this earlier. I think a vehicle went by, and somehow I got distracted. It's not hard to do, but in a little over a year, I'm finally going to be able to go outside the country. We have had the opportunity. My son, my dad, my brother-in-law, and I and some friends are going to be doing a trip to Africa. And we're going to go, and we're going with a, I don't even know all the terms, I'm sorry, but a hunting outfit called African Trophy Pursuit. And with that comes the opportunity to harvest a blesbuck, which is like an African antelope, and I'm looking at potentially maybe adding an additional, like a warthog or something like that. I'm going to try to do it with archery, and if it doesn't succeed, if I don't succeed within the first few days with archery, then I'll probably rent one of their weapons. But I'm really excited about it. I've had I spent a lot of time studying about it, and I missed an opportunity to go to Africa when I was young, and I've been kicking myself ever since. It's something that I've always wanted to do, and to be honest with you, I'm not a big game hunter. I don't take joy in harvesting animals. I do enjoy the hunt. It's probably something that I would have never done on my own as far as this particular trip, but I'm so excited for the opportunity, and especially to make the memories with my dad and my brother-in-law and my son and our friends. And I just think it's going to be something really special. So I'd like to try and bring you guys along on that. I did buy a camera that should be really helpful in capturing some of that footage. I got the Insta360. It's the X5, so the latest version. There's a lot of good things about that camera. There's a few difficulties that I'm having with me using Android devices. I'm not having a lot of success with uploading my images, my videos. Eventually I do get there because I'm very persistent, but it's taking lots and lots of hours for me to be able to download those at times. And I'm sorting through some of the things that are causing me problems. I think I've got most of those resolved, but I'm still having a few issues. And you know, ultimately by the time that we get there, we'll have something figured out if I have to buy a different camera. But we're going to get some really good footage, and we're going to see some amazing things that we've never seen before, and we want to share those with you. Also, this is something that I'm just kind of warming up to. Normally I don't stand in front of a camera. I don't think many people do. I'm not in this to try and become famous, you know. I would like to be monetized at some point so that it can help to pay for some of the adventures and some of the things that we want to do. I think that would be fantastic. It's a little bit hard to comprehend how that even works. I know that it requires a lot of views, it requires a lot of subscriptions, it requires likes, and it requires shares, you know. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around how much time 4,000 hours is. But the way that I actually got into YouTube was an accident when I finally decided to post a video. It wasn't something that I was planning on doing in advance. When we went to Colorado, we went to the Pikes Peak International Hill Climb, and so we met some friends there that we had never known, we didn't know before, we didn't know previously. They sat right next to us, Jack and Joe, and there were some cars that came through. Most of us were recording the vehicles as they came through, and I caught some footage that Jack wasn't able to get, and so he had asked me if I would be willing to share the footage with him because that was a car that he was really looking forward to. And so I said, yeah, no problem, let me get your telephone number and I'll text it over to you once I've got signal, because there was no signal on the mountain. And so I went and I texted him that video once we had service back at the lodge, and you know, I got to thinking about it, and I said, I've got a whole lot of footage. Maybe he'd be interested in more than just the footage that I'm sending him. So I said, you know, I'm going to make a compilation and I'm going to stick it on YouTube, and I'm going to give him the link, and he can share it with Joe, his friend, and you know, maybe that'll be a nice gesture. And so I put it on there, and to be honest, I didn't think that it would get 100 views, and I figured it would probably take a month or so to get that, because you know, nobody knows me. And so I woke up the next day, and I want to say I had 1,200 views. And the reason for that obviously is because it was a big event, and it kind of blew my mind, to be honest. And so I shared it with Jack, and he was really, really grateful and thanked me. And you know, I said, well, if Jack enjoys that video and he was there, surely some other people will enjoy it. And obviously 1,200 people or so had watched. That video now has about 2,000 views, and that's not a lot to most content creators, but it was way more than I anticipated. And to be honest with you, there wasn't any real editing in that video. I just shortened the individual tracks so that there was no waste, you know, there was no background talking or anything like that. It was strictly just audio from the cars going by for the most part, and visuals, you know, of the cars. And it was hard to get some of that footage. However, it's available if you want to look at it on YouTube. That'll help us get our views up, and if you would like and share, really appreciate it. We want to try and grow as quickly as possible. Like I say, if we can get a big enough following to be monetized a little over a year from now, that would mean the world to me. I'd be really, really excited about that. I don't expect that this channel will ever be a replacement for my job. I plan on working there until retirement. I've got a long ways to go, but you never know where life can take you. And if I can give back to this platform after it's helped my family and I to be able to build our home, what we expect to be our forever home, and raise our children in an atmosphere and an environment that they can enjoy themselves and learn some of the better, what I consider the better things in life. To me, if that's all that comes from this, still probably would have a debt, you know. It's that important to me to be able to live and enjoy outdoor life. So we're looking at probably some camping in addition to that. I don't know how short term that'll be, because it's really, really warm out right now. It's about 90 degrees and a little hotter than that today. We're approaching 100 degrees. I'm not trying to make this a really long video. I did want to get something on YouTube today. I've been trying for a few days now, and I just want to, oh, I've got a finger in the screen. I just want to try to keep posting regularly. It may not always be the best quality because I do work a full-time job, plus I've got 4 children and a wife and lots of responsibilities. But I do want to let you know that I am dedicated to trying to make this work, and I'm going to do my best to make at least 1 video a month, and hopefully more than that. So I hope that you've enjoyed. I hope that you'll stay with me. I hope that you'll subscribe. I hope that you'll like and share and do all those things to help us to promote good, wholesome entertainment and education. It's not always going to be outdoorsmanship. It's not always going to be that type of stuff. Sometimes it'll probably be me making something like a bridge or a shelter, or maybe one of the things that I'd really like to do is make a storm shelter out here in this hillside. And so I've got some really cool plans on that. It's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, so it's not going to be a tomorrow project by any means, but hopefully in the distant but not so distant future I can start that endeavor, and it's going to be huge. Once I start breaking ground on that, it's going to be amazing. I really think you guys will enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for taking time, and if you've seen this whole video, my hat's off to you. Well, I'm not really wearing a hat, but you know, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.